My dear viewers, hello and welcome to a new episode of our program Culture Magazine, during which we're going to bring you the latest cultural events that are taking place in Egypt.
Minister of Culture Dr. Ines Abdidaim reviewed the proposals of the Cultural Year program between Egypt, Russia, and Tunisia, allocating a pavilion for Nobel writers in the Naguib Mahfouz Museum. The Minister of Culture has met with the head of the Foreign Cultural Relations sector, Dr. Sabri Saeed, to review the intellectual and creative activities carried out during the artistic season 2020-2021 and plans to support artistic and intellectual exchange between Egypt and the countries of the world. It is noteworthy that 7 virtual creative evenings were organized as part of the Cultural Relations Initiative with the participation of ambassadors and representatives of Portugal, Vietnam, Germany, the Philippines, Thailand, Indonesia, and Pakistan. The cultural evenings are broadcast electronically in cooperation with the Supreme Council of Culture, headed by Dr. Hisham Azmi. Several seminars entitled Messages from the East and the West, held recently, were attended by representatives of 16 countries, namely Britain, Pakistan, Germany, Indonesia, Bosnia, Spain, Portugal, Bangladesh, the Philippines, Vietnam, Tunisia, Belgium, Senegal, Morocco, Russia, and Colombia have broadcast their activities via internet. The Minister of Culture also discussed the program of the activities of the Russian-Egyptian Cultural Exchange Year of 2021 to 22. In coordination with the Egyptian Embassy in Moscow, it includes presenting intensive intellectual and creative activities with the participation of all sectors of the Ministry of Culture and groups of writers, thinkers, and artists. This comes in addition to reviewing the proposals of the activities of the celebration of the Egyptian-Tunisian Cultural Year 2021-2022 in preparation for the announcement of its mutual and virtual activity. Mr. Abdidaim quickly directed to allocate a pavilion inside Naguib Mahfouz Museum for the international writers who won Nobel Prize in Literature to honor the symbols of world literature and their role in promoting the international culture, communicating with the countries of Spain, Portugal, Colombia, and these countries welcomed the idea and expressed their willingness to cooperate in its implementation. The Cairo Opera Ballet Troupe, under the supervision of its artistic director Armenia Kamil, celebrates the 20th anniversary of presenting the Zorba Ballet for the first time at the Cairo Opera House, as it re-performs it with a Big Night Ballet, or Leila Kibira. Ballet Zorba by the Greek composer Mikis Touadrikas and choreographed by Lorca Messin. Ballet Zorba is about a life-loving young man living in the countryside of Greece whom women and girls adore. Zorba falls in love with a beautiful young girl that he met while traveling, yet he was heartbroken when she dies, leaving him in a sad mood. His friend John couldn't satisfy his love as well, so they joined to express their feelings through music and the ballet Zorba. As for the Big Night or Leila Kibira, it was inspired by the famous puppet show of the same name. The music was composed by the great musician Said Mekawi and the words of the poet Salah Jahin. It was performed for the first time in the 60s of the last century at the Puppet Theater in Cairo. The show was then performed differently with its music composed by Gamal Salama while maintaining the same old theme that revolves around the manifestations of the celebration of popular folklore, and it achieved great success when it was first presented in its new form. It is noteworthy that the Cairo Opera Ballet Troupe was founded in 1966 and was affiliated with the Higher Institute of Ballet and trained its members with experts from the Soviet Union. The troupe presented its first show in that same year, yet it remained an issue of concern that the troupe needed to find an identity of its own distinctive nature. The troupe performed various works of classical ballet and contemporary performances through Egyptian directors and choreographers. The ballet then joined the rest of troupes of the National Cultural Center at the Cairo Opera House in 1991, and they traveled to present their shows in several countries such as Mexico, France, England, Ireland, Korea, Austria, the US, China, the Czech Republic, Italy, Turkey, Lebanon, Jordan, Canada, and Russia.
Egypt is always keen on honoring its icons and stars in the fields of culture, arts, cinema, and writing.
The Cairo Opera House celebrates the 100th anniversary of the birth of the great poet Morsi Gamil Aziz on one of its theaters while adhering to precautionary measures against corona. The concert was recently held at the open-air Fountain Theater at the Opera House.
حبيبي الغالي حبيبي الغالي من بعد الأشواق بهديك كل سلامي وحنيني وغرامي. مشتاق لعنيك مشتاق لك مشتاق وانا لسه مقابلك وفي عز الشوق يا حبيبي وفي عز الليل بكتب لك لا لا قلبي اللي بيكتب لك هو اللي بيبعت لك 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 والليل صحى والشوق خلاه يكتب لك.
Morsi Gamil Aziz was born in the city of Zagazig on February 15, 1921. His father was a fruit vendor and he took on the same profession at the beginning of his life and benefited from it, as he was influenced by the calls of vendors, folk songs and heritage songs that he memorized and absorbed. Despite the fame of Morsi Gamil Aziz in songs, he is the poet of 1,000 songs, but he excelled in various fields, so he was known as an author of short stories, a scriptwriter, some films, and an opinion figure in literary articles in newspapers and magazines.
شباكنا ستاير حرير من نسمة شوق بتطير شباكنا ستاير حرير من نسمة شوق بتطير وبقالي كتير يا حبيبي بقالي كتير بستنى تجيب الفرحة والثوب الأبيض والطرحة بستنى تجيب الفرحة والثوب الأبيض والطرحة ونطير زي العصافير.
He began with Mabruk Aliki in 1949 and concluded with the birth of Ya Dunya in 1976, the most famous of which are the films A Love Story, Me and My Girls, The Unknown Woman, Adham Sharqawi, and Black Candles, as well as many more. Gamil Aziz wrote the script and dialogue for the film This I Love and This I Want, produced in 1975 in partnership with Ramses Naguib, and the film starring Noura and Hani Shekhar was directed by Hassan al-Imam.
أشبكهم على الفستان ونطير زي العصافير.
He also supervised the movie Moulid Ya Dunya in addition to writing the lyrics for it. The movie was a 1976 production starring Afaf Radi, Mahmoud Yassin, and Abdel Menan Madbouli. During his life, besides being a poet, he wrote the short story, and he also published some press articles in some Egyptian newspapers. He was not satisfied with this, but rather went to study and obtained a diploma in the art of screenwriting in 1963. And the state honored him with the Medal of Honor for Literature and Arts in 1965, during the era of President Gamal Abdel Nasser. He sang in his own words along with other great classical musicians and poets that will live on in our hearts, such as Muhammad Abdul Wahab, Kulthum, Abdul Halim Hafiz, Fairuz, and many others. He wrote songs in the era of the great classics. This age included the Riyad al-Sumbati, the Rahbani brothers, Muhammad al-Mogi, Kamal al-Tawil, and Baligh Hamdi.
الحلوة 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 مرمشها السودة الحلوة 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 مرمشها السودة الحلوة شغلتني نادتني خدتني ودتني بعيد وجابتني شغلتني نادتني خدتني ودتني بعيد وجابتني الشوق غلبني الشوق كان حيدوبني الشوق غلبني الشوق كان حيدوبني لولا ضحكتها الحلوة وعدتني بحاجات حلوة لولا ضحكتها الحلوة وعدتني بحاجات حلوة حلوة الحلوة عليك يا حبيبي
دي البساطة. لو نرجع للتاريخ من الأذان اللي عمله عبد الوهاب في المزيكا أو المظاهر كان كلهم المشايخ بيغنوا بطريقة، عبد الوهاب بهر الناس بطريقة أبسط بكتير. كانت النقلة الثانية فعلا في المزيكا صوت عبد الحليم، البساطة والبساطة المطلقة والجملة السلسة اللي عاملة زي شعرة الراس الناعمة سلسة خالص ما تحسيش بعفونة، سهل ممتنع. وبعدين صوت زي في ناس كده يقابلوك في الشارع تقول انا شفت الراجل ده قبل كده، يمكن عمرك ما شفتيه، تحسي بألفة كده. ده صوت عبد الحليم.
ليالي وطالت ايامي وفي ظل رموشك وشفايفك وفي ظل رموشك وشفايفك غنت احلامي
Who all achieved widespread public success, won the State Appreciation Award and the Republic Medal for Literature and Arts. He was a pioneer of popular and descriptive songs and a knight of emotional song. He passed away on February 9th in the year 1980.
The Cairo Opera House plays a significant role in the cultural movement that is taking place in Egypt. Please stay tuned.
Under the auspices of Dr. Ines Abdel-Daim, Minister of Culture, and the Cairo Opera House headed by Dr. Magdi Saber, the St. Petersburg Opera Company was invited to present the world-famous performance of Rigoletto opera by the great Italian international musician Giuseppe Verdi.
I'm absolutely amazing of these things. First of all, it's first time when I and our theater in Cairo, first time. I see that this event is very important for our country, Russia and Cairo. Very Russia in Egypt. Excuse me. Very, very important. I'm glad to introduce our country in Cairo. This house is bigger than our theater. Bigger orchestra hall, bigger, a lot bigger. Bigger. Bigger the house, hall, bigger. The stage is bigger too. But our theater was the same situation. For example, in French, in Kazakhstan, it's normal for us. I know that between our country not so good relationship, but it's not important for culture of ours, of Egypt and Russia. It's not important. I hope we'll be back with another performance to Cairo Opera.
Здравствуйте, я являюсь директором театра Санкт-Петербург-Опера.
My name is Evgeny Malygin. I'm the general director of the St. Petersburg Opera. And of course, this year we're having such a great cooperation with Cairo Opera House in the frameworks of cross-year of humanitarian cooperation between Russia and Egypt. And this project is supported by the government of St. Petersburg. And of course, we are really hoping for fruitful cooperation between our two theaters here. And we also would like to see Cairo Opera House as our future contestants in the frameworks of the Festival of International Chamber Opera that is held in St. Petersburg on our venue. Of course, my expectations about this international project, as we would like to know how the public, the audience would react on something that we brought, Rigoletto. It's a true masterpiece of opera, classic opera. And therefore we would just like to feel the spirit and enjoy the evening and definitely please the local audience. I'm really glad that besides the fact that Russian tourists are coming back to Egypt again, but that Russian culture is also performed on the stage of Cairo Opera House. I think it is a great achievement that both governments were able to make real. We certainly didn't mind any kind of cooperation with Cairo Opera House or any other institutions of culture in Egypt. Of course, it depends on the desire of both institutions. But our People's Artist of Russia, Yuri Alexandrov, who staged performance Rigoletto tonight, he works worldwide, and it's only a matter of mutual desire and cooperation. I think that, of course, we're thankful to the government of St. Petersburg that has financed this project and helped us a lot to come here to Egypt in order to be a part of this inter-cooperation between Russia and Egypt. And of course, as I am aware of, that we will have also a lot of different cultural events that are supported by Russian embassy here and the Ruski Dom in Cairo, that Russian collectives will come and show the masterpieces of art.
Rigoletto is an acknowledged masterpiece, demonstrates Verdi's complete grasp of his musical materials, shown in a distinctive rhythmic, melodic, and harmonic patterns. Shuruq Bikir, Culture Magazine.
Well, with this, my dear viewers, we come to the end of this episode of our program, Culture Magazine. I hope you've enjoyed being with me. Please wait for me in the next episode. Until then, it's goodbye.